Political violence is unacceptable, no matter where it comes from. But I want to talk about the leadership and what some leaders have said, which I believe has contributed to that political violence. In 2018, when Nancy Pelosi was asked about policies she disagreed with, instead of saying she would do her job and legislate or try to persuade people to the contrary, she replied, "I just don't even know why there aren't uprisings all over the country. And maybe there will be." About that same time, Kamala Harris was asked about being stuck in an elevator, President Trump, Mike Pence, and Jeff Sessions. And she replied while laughing, "Does one of us have to come out alive?" And then there's this.
If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to like, share, and stick around for more simple and dramatic retellings of big political and celebrity moments.
In March 2020, the majority leader of the United States Senate, Chuck Schumer, said about Supreme Court justices the following: "I want to tell you, Gorsuch, I want to tell you, Kavanaugh, you have released the whirlwind, and you will pay the price. You won't know what hit you." In August 2020, Representative Ayanna Pressley said there needs to be unrest in the street, encouraging rioters. Then Maxine Waters said in 2021 that Democratic rioters should, quote, "get more confrontational," close quote, with police. She said, "If you see anybody from Trump's cabinet in a restaurant, in a department store, at a gas station, you get out and create a crowd, and you push back on them, and you tell them they're not welcome anymore, anywhere." And then in 2023, Delegate Stacey Plaskett said on MSNBC that President Trump needs to be shot.
You won't believe the heated exchange that happened in this meeting. It started off calm, but quickly turned into a serious reality check. Let's break it down step by step.
In 2024, President Biden told Democratic donors that it was time to put Trump, this is the President of the United States, told Democratic donors it was time to put Trump in the bullseye. Recently, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez posted in an Instagram story that people should resist ICE. And then Jasmine Crockett, a member of the House of Representatives from the state of Texas. Kayla Hamilton was a young woman who was sexually assaulted and strangled to death by an illegal alien, an MS-13 member. I lead a bill named in her honor here in the Senate. Representative Jasmine Crockett called Kayla Hamilton a, quote, "random dead person." Talked about the person, the would-be assassin that was going to kill Justice Kavanaugh. And of course, the assassination attempts on President Trump. Does everybody on the panel feel like or believe that the individuals who actually commit acts of violence should be held accountable? Raise your hand. So we agree. Acts of political violence are unacceptable, and the individual who commits those acts should be held accountable. But I want to talk about the political leadership that I think has a greater responsibility. People who serve as the elected representatives of the American people. Is there anybody believe that they bear no responsibility for inciting or encouraging acts of violence? Well, we've always had, in our course of our nation's history, people who are ideologically driven to violence, anarchists, maybe the historical antecedent of Antifa, people motivated by ideological reasons. But I believe that leaders elected to Congress should not say or do things which suggest that political violence is acceptable. And the examples I read to you just now, I think, should be condemned.
Thanks for being here. I'm really glad that at least we can all agree on one thing, that hurting people because of politics is never okay, no matter who does it. But I want to talk about the people in charge, our leaders, and the things some of them have said that I think have made this kind of violence worse. So, back in 2018, Nancy Pelosi was asked about policies she didn't like. Instead of saying she would do her job and try to change minds, she said, "I just don't even know why there aren't uprisings all over the country, and maybe there will be." Around that same time, Kamala Harris was asked what she would do if she got stuck in an elevator with President Trump, Mike Pence, and Jeff Sessions. She laughed and said, "Does one of us have to come out alive?" Then there was Senator Chuck Schumer. In March 2020, when he was the majority leader of the U.S. Senate, he talked about two Supreme Court justices, Gorsuch and Kavanaugh, and said, "I want to tell you, Gorsuch, I want to tell you, Kavanaugh, you have released the whirlwind, and you will pay the price. You won't know what hit you." In August 2020, Representative Ayanna Pressley said there needs to be unrest in the street, which sounded like she was encouraging riots. Then Maxine Waters said in 2021 that Democratic protesters should get more confrontational with police. She also said, "If you see anybody from Trump's cabinet in a restaurant, a store, or a gas station, you get out and create a crowd and push back on them. Tell them they're not welcome anymore anywhere." In 2023, Delegate Stacey Plaskett went on MSNBC and said that President Trump needs to be shot. Then in 2024, President Biden told Democratic donors that it was time to put Trump in the bullseye. And just recently, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez posted on Instagram telling people they should resist ICE. Then there's Jasmine Crockett, a member of the House of Representatives from Texas. Kayla Hamilton was a young woman who was hurt and killed by an illegal immigrant who was part of MS-13. I led a bill in her honor here in the Senate. But Representative Jasmine Crockett called Kayla Hamilton a random dead person. We've also talked about the man who tried to kill Justice Kavanaugh, and of course the assassination attempts on President Trump. Does everyone here agree that the people who actually commit violence should be punished? Would you raise your hand? So we all agree that political violence is wrong, and the people who do it should be held responsible. But I want to talk about the leaders, the politicians, because I think they have a bigger responsibility. They are the ones chosen by the American people. Does anyone think they have no responsibility when they say or do things that might encourage violence? Throughout our country's history, we've had people who turned violent because of their beliefs, like anarchists or groups kind of like Antifa today. But I believe that people in Congress should never say or do things that make it seem like political violence is okay. The examples I just read should be condemned.